Hello, MGTOW. Hello, men. This is Howard Dare. Thanks for stopping by. So, I want to talk about the most basic deception. And let me tell you why. I'm constantly struggling with various decisions. I have difficulty understanding the behavior of other people, especially regarding politics and what I would call ethics. It's not what you would call ethics, something different. And I'm constantly facing this same problem, day after day. Listening to a news report, interacting with some people, they express their opinion, which is in contrast to my opinion, and I have this frustration understanding it. And then I see, the future of the world and the events around me taking shape based on what I consider to be completely erroneous views. And I don't know how to stop it. And it's coming from a great many different angles. So that's just one of the things that I deal with on a regular basis. And it doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? Why can't I find a solution to this problem, okay? Well, let me talk to you about what I'm considering to be the most basic deception, because I'm suggesting that there is a fundamental basic conflict taking place between people. And it is this basic deception. This is why it's a constant fight and it's a constant battle. This is why it can come from any angle. This deception is essentially, it comes from the left, I'll tell you that. It's essentially a kind of feminine way of looking at the world. It is the conflict between, it's not the conflict between the left and the right, because the right can also be confused in this manner. The fact is, this conflict is constant. It has to do with your worldview. And every day, for nearly every person, well, you'll see, will involve this struggle. And it's the struggle between what they believe to be true, moral, ethical, the way forward into the future, versus something else. Yeah, you thought I was going to give you an explicit definition right there. And I'll get there. Now, we can't know for certain that we are in possession of the truth and the right way forward. But many people try to operate from that principle, but not everybody. Some people have yet to establish the best and right way forward in this world. They are simply looking for expediency. They are simply looking for gain as they see it. So you've got one group of people who are operating under certain moral and ethical principles, essentially freedom, individual rights. That's what's guiding their behavior. You've got another group of people who they just want to get ahead. They don't necessarily want to, they just want to get ahead. This is why you get into arguments with people. If everyone was in agreement about the best way forward, there would be no arguments, there would be no frustrations. Now, perhaps you're saying, Howard Dare is assuming that one side is correct and the other side is wrong, when it could just be that, both sides assume that they are right, but we don't know. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about one group of people that are trying to do that, and they're aware of the fact that they can't know for certain. This is where individual freedom and freedom of expression matters. This is where freedom really does matter. Versus another group of people who simply want to get ahead. Now, I know that that's a rather... One group, their decisions are informed by ethical, moral considerations. The other group, they just want to get ahead. They just want material gain and profit. And they're willing to bend and twist the situation and put aside any sort of moral, ethical consideration that they can get away with for the material gain. Their decisions and their life are yet to be informed by ethical, moral principles. They'll follow the rules, if you understand what I mean. They'll even adopt the moral and ethical code of the group that they're in, but it's not a willing, decision. They haven't decided that that's the right way to go. They've decided that those are the rules. And the conflict that is constant is this question individually, is my life going to be governed by moral and ethical principles? Am I going to treat other people as I would like them to treat me? Or am I willing to do whatever I need to do to get ahead and then justify it and say, that person, well, they belong to a different political party, so they can't be good, and anything I do, even if it's immoral and unethical, is justified because I've decided that they are unethical and immoral. Now, do you see how that fundamental dynamic is going to create a conflict every day, nearly every way, with the people that you're coming in contact with? Not just with the people, but with the ideas and the considerations. It's a moral conflict within the individual. And if you try to adhere to the moral and ethical principles which will make you strong and fit and healthy in life, you are in conflict with 80% of the people in your society and civilization. And it's not because they're bad or they're evil, although they may be. It's simply because they haven't adopted this at all. Or it's a question of degrees. Like, I believe that most people growing up, just existing, are looking at the world and constantly asking themselves, what's the right thing to do? I want to get ahead, I want to take care of myself, but I want to do the right thing, and I don't want to get punished from the group or excluded from the group. You see, there's the conflict, there's the frustration, there's the source of the frustration. So I'm watching, political news, right? And I just put the video up the other day about the political ad against Ed Gillespie, right? Check it out. It's a short video. But it's very frustrating. It's very upsetting because it highlights this conflict that I'm talking about. So Tucker Carlson, is suggesting, isn't this immoral? Isn't this wrong to simply imply that the candidate that you're against is a racist, and is in favor of, harming children simply because you want to win? It's not true. So, that's the question that he puts forward to LaDawn Jones. And LaDawn Jones, answers no. That's fine because moral reasons, this is the atmosphere within the country. And that's what this ad is speaking out against. And Tucker says, no, this is a direct attack, connecting this candidate with this set of reprehensible behavior that he in no way, represents. Isn't that wrong? But he doesn't ask, how would you feel if it was done to you? You know what I mean? He's giving her the rope, right? So isn't that wrong? And the answer that she puts forward is, no, it's not wrong. It's like, well, isn't it untrue? And the answer is, well, technically, yes, it's untrue. She gives him that. So she feels that the immoral behavior, the reprehensible advertisement is completely justified morally, right? But she's not really letting her decisions be decided by a moral consideration. She just wants to win. And she's willing to do these things that are very unworthy, from an advertising, from a truth point of view, from a public discourse and debate point of view, because she's morally, ethically justified it on some other level, even though she knows it's wrong. That's the conflict that the individual is in all the time. That's the conflict that you are in all the time. That's the basic deception that people are trying to pull over on you all the time, that their behavior, which in many instances, what I would say 80% of the cases, is just self-serving misrepresentation, is in fact governed, by real moral and ethical principles, which they don't have. They haven't developed them yet. They've just adopted the rules of the group around them, and then they're functioning within those rules to try to get ahead. That's all. Their behavior it's not self-motivated in any way. That's why, you can see them smirking, because they feel as if they've got one over. And this is also why I believe that you can see them disintegrate physically, out of shape, gaining weight, not taking care of themselves. That this mental attitude expresses itself physically over time. That may be kind of harsh, but it's over time, and it's in relation to, your genetics. In other words, you're interested in doing the best with what you have, not some sort of overall achievement, if you can understand what I'm saying with that. That is the important moral and ethical consideration, not, how tall can you be in life, but what have you done with what height that you do have? Because you could not control how tall you were going to be, but you could control what you did with what height you had. So, that's the judgment of the individual's character, not their height. And I hope you can understand how this relates to the subject matter at hand. In any case, I'm going to leave it at that for now. I think I'm going to have to come back to this subject, but I feel it's a very important subject. But let me remind you guys, I'm going to be having an open MGTOW hangout tonight, Wednesday night, 5 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. That's 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And I don't exactly know what time that's going to be over there in Great Britain, but it'll be later in the evening. So join me for that. But let me know what you think about this in the comments section below. And please like, share, comment, subscribe, donate, and join me again, Howard Dare, as I plan to have more content for you. Thank you, MGTOW.